Well, hey there, it's Jennie Wolek with the Wolek Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Welcome back to another episode of Agent Success Secrets. And I am so excited to share all of these secrets with you from the amazing Manda Price. Manda, you are a joy to be around. You always have a smile on your face and you just float through life like it's easy breezy. Is that true?
No. Do you see these bags? No. But thank you. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, I always just learn so much from you, and I wanted to feature you today because not only have you been a super successful real estate agent, you've now found your passion for leading and growing others in a team leader role. And so there's so much to learn from great people like you because you've really seen and done it all. And so just share with everyone who you are, where you are, what you do, and then we'll hop into it.
Thank you. So my name is Manda Price, and I'm the president at Keller Williams Innovate here in Wilmington, North Carolina. I moved here in 2018 from Champaign, Illinois. So Midwest girl, moved to the beach, and I am absolutely blessed for being in the role that I am and being in business with people like you. So thank you.
Well, you're so great at what you do. I mean, there's so many parts of your story that would really, I think, add value to so many. First off, you started in the Midwest, like you said, and being a real estate agent at a young age. So, kind of share your story about how that all happened and then what ended up evolving over time.
Yes. So I started out actually, I graduated college at the age of 19 and I bought a commercial building and yes, I door knocked and bought a for sale by owner or bought it on contract from an owner. And I did a remodel and I turned it into a preschool. I had 64 kids full time plus part-time children and a staff of 8 people with a chef. And lo and behold, as I got my certification to open, DCFS has to certify the building, and they said, "Great, who's going to be your director?" And I said, "Well, me, of course." And they're like, "No, you have to be 21." So I'm like, "All right." So I found that I had a pattern of doing this throughout my life, and so from the age of 19 to 24, I ran that business, and then I was approached to give some consideration to real estate. And what I was discovering about the business I was in is that there was a financial lid on how much income that I can make by owning my own school. And I didn't like that. I loved the idea of, there being a reward for the work that I did and there being no ceiling to that. So I kept the building and I leased it out and I got my real estate license and I jumped into real estate in 2004. So that's where it all began.
First off, I've never heard that story, and I've talked with you many times. So
I
that's
know. I know.
amazing.
It's
Amazing, amazing, amazing. You know, Amanda, I'm a Quantum Leap for Young Adults instructor, and it's that early 20s, that young adult days of like not knowing who you are, and we float through life. So, how did you already at that young age have so much clarity?
I knew I loved that. I loved the industry of the serving and the fulfillment that it gave me and the relationships that I was building with the families. I loved everything about that. And I was doing internships during college and I knew I probably didn't want to work for someone else. So I thought I'd open my own. And that's how it happened. And I look back and I'm like, wow, like what did you even know what you were really doing? But what I did well is I went pretty fast. I failed forward and I learned every time as I was, I just get back up and do it again. And so that all led me to real estate.
Well, clearly, that is a great backstory. So, you get into real estate, you're still young, early
Yeah.
20s.
Yeah, 24. So I get into real estate and I sold 36 houses in my first year. The market
So,
was, yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
Okay, 36 in a year, first year. You're still learning the contracts, learning the processes, the checklists, the systems, the confidence to talk to people. Like, how was 36 by yourself in a year done?
I think, well, first of all, it was the environment of the people I was around. I was constantly being pushed. I was competitive. I saw what other people were doing around me, and I knew that I had a little more in me. I was very committed. I did have 3 children by that time already. I had a baby at 20, or my last child, I was 20, what was I? Yeah, 24. And so I was like, I had a purpose. I was driven. I created a structure that allowed me to do it. And just, and I was pushed. I was competitive. So it was just sort of in me. And if you were to drill it down, I absolutely know it came down to the number of conversations I was having every day. And I was relentless in making sure that I was having conversations every day. And if I didn't know them, I was going to get to know them. And if I did know them, they were going to know I was in real estate.
I mean, this wasn't yesterday. This was many years ago. So this is before social media, before you did videos and TikToks and all of that stuff. So Amanda, you were really talking to people?
I was talking to people, yeah. I believe in text. I believe in DMs, but the getting out, picking up the phone or being face to face. And so we were just seen. We had a lot of client events. We would sponsor events. And so we were just there. We were around the town and I was a townie. That couldn't have hurt me. And yeah, I was 24. And so I think, my friends back then were definitely more mature and in a position to buy probably earlier than my kids today are at 24. And so I think positioning helps, timing helps, and hard work, it just pays off.
All right, so you did 36 and you probably like went backwards that next year or
Oh, then I went to 54 sales and then I went to 72 sales and then Keller Williams found me and I
yeah, they
transitioned.
did.
Yeah, I transitioned over to Keller Williams in 2008. And that next year I was regional rookie of the year for Mid-American and two more years in sales led me to be the team leader of the KW Champaign office. And I was 8 years as the team leader there before relocating.
Now, what happens when you have all the success? They just say, you look like a leader, come start leading. So, how did you transfer all of the skills that you had and the knowledge of being a successful agent into then leading and growing others? Because that's a very different mindset.
It is and it isn't.
Yeah.
So you're a mega agent, you list homes, and it's the same thing that I do. And so it's just helping people reach their full potential, helping people map their goals, being you and I are so similar in the way that we want to help people unlock their full potential in life. And so that is no different than what a rainmaker of a team is. It's just at a much bigger scale. And so I knew that I had to get better so that I could help more people. So I became very committed to personal growth and to understanding the business and becoming an expert in the industry. And so I poured myself into learning and growing and reading. And then, of course, podcasts come along and all the things. And so if I wasn't working, I was learning. And my kids make fun of me because they were in the car with the things on and now they speak KW2. And so it just happens that way. And so I think the environment, the people we get to surround ourselves with, Gary Keller and the leaders that we've just been in business with has truly blessed so many of our lives and especially mine.
Yeah, I've heard it said, I think maybe Jordan Freed has even said this, that, um, you know, the first step of being a great leader is leading yourself
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So if you're not pouring into yourself and taking the time for yourself, the self-care and the exercise and the mindset pieces, you just can't. You'll burn out. We talked about this a little bit earlier, Amanda. So kind of share with me what you see and what you fear agents doing when they, break through the new year, they're going to crush their goals, and then
Yeah.
what tends to happen?
Yeah, I think the tendency is we just came off the holidays. There's a joke in real estate that, around Halloween, they turn into pumpkins and then they reappear again for the spring. And so it's like, this is that time that everybody's energy is at its highest, just like at the gym, right? January 1st, the gym is packed and then we just watch the attendance go down. In our industry, we have a real life scenario of seasonality. And so, we start to go hard and then we start to sort of burn out. And my personal opinion is that you can avoid burnout when you marry this business with things that you love to do. And so I think a lot of people struggle with competing commitments, be it as I want to be home more with my family, or I want to do things that I enjoy doing like pickleball, or I want to be, this or that. Then it doesn't have to be an or. It can be an and. And I think that that is the way that we protect ourselves from burning out is marrying your passions and your fun with this business. And so when I'm coaching people and we're building business plans, that's got to be on the plan. That has to be a part of the GPS. Because if it's a daily grind, you just get ate up. And so there's no fun in that. And then it's hard to recover. That's hard. And it ends up setting you back. And so it's like, okay, how do we bulletproof ourselves from doing it? Build it into the plan and have some fun.
Well, that's how we burn out when we're
Yep.
grinding for no reason. I
Yep.
remember, Amanda, when I was newer at Keller Williams, it's been, gosh, I've been with this company for 17 years now. And I remember being in the training room and the team leader asking the question, who knows their big why?
Yeah.
And some people would be really confident and they would share it. I remember kind of wallowing back and just thinking, I don't know my why. I don't know. And it made me feel bad about myself. Do you ever have that happen when you're coaching agents and talking with them? And how do you help them overcome it?
I do. I heard this from another coach, and it was, and I love this visual that I think if we think about the solar system and there's this North Star, that there is a series of stars along the way that lead you to that North Star, and not every there's a set of little whys that roll into the big why, and you're not always going to have clarity on the big why, but you do need the next star. And so it could be this year's why or this month's why. Everybody has a reason for their motivation. This morning's consulting session is a guy who wants to move his family to Portugal for 6 months. That's 2026's big why. That is not his 20-year big why, right? And he may not have that completely dialed in today, but he knows why he's doing 2025, and it's to be in Portugal for 2026 with his family. And so I think we have to take the pressure off of ourselves and just go, okay, what's next? And because I believe the overwhelm of trying to know it all creates the paralysis, and that's what we want to avoid. And so if we can just get clarity on the next and then the next and just take one bite at a time, then it feels like we're getting the small little rewards that move us and then over time to the North Star.
I love that analogy, and I'm definitely going to use it.
Yeah,
Because whenever we talk about determining your purpose or your personal mission statement, especially sharing with young adults and us older people too, we just need to start going in that direction.
right.
We
Yep.
don't have to have it all figured out yet, but like you said, Manda, going where your joy is
Right.
and specifically pickleball.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
So let's talk about, because I always love for our viewers to walk away with some tactical, how I'm going to implement these ideas into my business. So let's talk about, and you can speak to it as being a real estate agent because you've been a successful one, or also you're a rock star team leader. But talk about if you're starting your business all over from today, what would you do and how would you do it?
And I think the answer is the same. I would take my phone out and I would import it into a CRM or into a CSV file, and I would identify every hole inside of that database, and then I would fill the holes with the data that was missing. The everything we need to achieve our goals already exist, most likely within our hand.
Yeah.
Um, from there, I would call them 4 times a year. And if I did nothing else, I'd probably achieve my goal. But on top of that, I'd want mind share. So when they thought about real estate, they only thought about me. And I would communicate with them with frequency and intensity. And what we know now is that it used to be 33 touches. It's probably going to be 68 or more. So 4 phone calls, 68 touches, and it's a variety of things, events, pop buys, emails, newsletters, YouTube, Facebook, but with a plan. And so I think we have to move to, being proactive in the business instead of reactive in the business. And that is by having a GPS and having that 72 touch plan.
All right, that all sounds great. Got it. But if you were to share with us, what would a conversation sound like? So you found that you had some gaps. So maybe you had a like high school friend in your phone and you didn't have an email for them. So like how would you reach out and fill in gaps?
Yeah. In the words of the great Kent Temple, he says, ring, ring, and then they pick up and he goes, hey. That's it. And I just think you have to call them. How are you? I want to apologize because we've lost touch. And what's going on in your life right now? Here's where I am. And I realize that I don't have complete information on you. And my job is to always be adding value. And I promise you that I will not spam you or ever waste your time. I think you know that about me. But is this the correct email address? Is this still your home address? And just want to make sure, or I don't have it, and can I gather that from you? So I believe that being your authentic self, having an apology if you've lost touch, and just being honest. My goal is to help as many people as I can in real estate so they do not end up with a weak agent. And shame on me because I have not called you, and that won't happen again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the truth is they haven't been counting the days since we last talked. And to be honest, nobody calls anybody anymore. So even a lot of times I think people fear this, but most of the time you are going to go to their voicemail anyway, right? They hear your voice, you're caring and you're kind because you are. You're still getting in that touch. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Now, I love this idea because I'm a huge fan of it. I actually created a class all about B2B, how to build your network and your net worth
Yep.
with business to business. So tell me what you think this plan could look like if someone needed to grow their database, they wanted to add value to their community and local businesses. What would it look like?
Yeah, so I'm in a new area in Wilmington, North Carolina, and if you were to say, "Hey, you're back to real estate tomorrow," my current Met database in Wilmington would not support my financial goals, and the very first thing that I would do is the business to business play. Number one, their information is already published. Number two, we are constantly providing this information out to people who are relocating to the area and or they're looking for recommendations in the area, and I want to be the go-to person for that. So I would call up the business owner and ask them, do they already have a preferred realtor? Likely their answer is going to be no. And I would say, I would love to talk to you about becoming my preferred plumber, dry cleaner, whatever the business type is, and may I come by, bring you my information, and gather your information. I would add them to my database, I would tag them, they would be a part of my directory. Then they'd be featured on my social media, my YouTube, interviews, spotlights. They would be in my newsletters, on my campaigns because they own a home, most likely. They additionally own a business, and there's a good chance they own the real estate they're working out of. So it is such a massive opportunity for people to literally overnight double their database if they chose to. I think we're in a hub and spoke business, real estate being the hub, and everything we do, we're feeding business out to other people, but we lack the accountability of asking for the business in the return. So if we created a system around that, there's a really good chance that they would want to help you grow your business because you're authentically going to help them grow yours.
It's a true win-win, to be
Yes.
honest. And it may
Yep.
not be right now business, but you're still growing your database. And Amanda, you live and die by the models of the MREA, and you know the more people you have in your database, the more people you get to possibly help.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So that'd be my next approach, 100%.
I love that idea. So you get to talk with agents of all production levels, lots of experience, maybe newer in the business. What are you seeing as the biggest struggle for real estate agents in today's world? And then how do you help them overcome it?
Yeah, I think there's a few things that are happening right now. Creating urgency with our clients. We have a lot of sellers who are, sitting on very low interest rates, and we had some buyers for a little while that were thinking that things were going to change in the market. And so, the way to overcome it is through the conversation, through education, through being the consultant, being the loudest voice in the room. So constantly educating yourself about what's happening in the market. The news is paid on clickbait, and the person who talks the loudest wins. So if they're listening to CNN or CNBC and not to you, then who are they going to hear? And so you have a responsibility to get out there and educate people. Sellers are no different than any other person. We need to understand their motivation and really tap into that. I believe that most people are payment driven. And when we educate them about their cost and really help them break down their numbers, then we can move them to another property. I've seen some statistics that there are a lot of people who have some buyer remorse during the COVID days because they saw multiple properties, they didn't get inspections, they felt that they overpaid on the home because of the multiple offers, some were sight unseen. So I believe there's opportunity to move people into their home of their dreams if we just dig a little deeper and ask them questions.
That's always the answer, right?
Questions. Yeah.
Asking great questions and really understanding how we can help people.
Yep.
Any final thoughts or words? Anything pop in your mind of something important to share?
No, the only other thing I would say is engineer an environment, whatever that environment looks like. It's okay to work from home, but make sure that you're getting out there and you're surrounding yourself with people who are thinking bigger, doing bigger, regardless of the industry. If you need to get on a plane, go. If you need to get in the car and drive somewhere, do it. Whether it's your office or whether it's a restaurant and you're having coffee with people, be intentional about it. No one succeeds alone. And I think accountability, coaching, mentoring, and support matters.
It sure does. I know I'm going to get on a plane and probably see you in Vegas here pretty soon.
That's well, yeah, I can't wait.
I can't wait either. Thanks for sharing all your good stuff. Of course, Manda, if people want to find you, what's the best way they can track you down?
You can look me up on Facebook, Instagram, KW, but my email is teamleader or TL at kwilm.com. And I'd love to help anybody in any way I can.
You are such a blessing, and I appreciate you so much. So thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, talk to you later.